From Northeast State Studios in Blountville, Tennessee, this is Views of the SEC. And welcome to Views of the SEC. Trey Adams alongside my esteemed colleague, Adam Benefiel, where we are talking all SEC football. Wow, what a weekend of college football. Absolutely unbelievable games all over the place. Just absolute excitement from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock the next morning. So many great games. Real quick, we're going to just jump into some of the headlines here. Tennessee wins on a last-second Hail Mary over Georgia to move to 5-0 for the first time since 1998. Texas A&M gets major victory over South Carolina and moves to 5-0 for the third straight season. Florida bounces back with victory over Vanderbilt. Looks very shaky, but won 13-6. LSU comes back with huge victory over Missouri less than a week after Les Miles was fired after 11 years as head coach. Adam, just give me some quick thoughts on the weekend, including the Tennessee game, where we can officially cue Tupac's Hail Mary.
Man, wasn't that the same thing that happened last year in the game?
Just about.
Yeah, I mean that was insane. I think at pretty much every time slot throughout the day, there was just a phenomenal game going on. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was watching most of the A&M game while that was going on.
Of course.
Yeah, so every once in a while, I'd see the ticker at the bottom scroll up, and Georgia would be up, or Georgia would score another touchdown, and I was just like, oh, no. After breaking that streak, y'all are going to come out and lose to Georgia after that. But I was able to flip over towards the very end, and I saw, just the last minute, which was just insane, with a 47-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Eason with 10 seconds left, and then the stupid excessive celebration penalty that even gave Tennessee a chance. I mean, it's brutal. And the kickoff
that put them in position, and then Josh Dobbs and DeJuan Jennings, never a doubt in their minds. Texas A&M, your Aggies moved to 5-0. 5-0 for the third straight season. And when you started this podcast, did you think that me and you were going to be sitting here talking about Tennessee and Texas A&M both 5-0?
No.
I didn't either.
No, I did not. This is the point in time where the Aggie roller coaster goes flying off the rails. So I'm hoping at least that doesn't continue. That trend doesn't continue. But on your side, you're hoping that you could probably have one of the best seasons in school history. I mean, if you have this game and then one more, then you're through the toughest part of the schedule.
Definitely. Checking on the SEC standings, Tennessee, they control their own destiny in the East there. 2-0, Florida sitting right behind, but they have a very tough matchup Saturday against LSU. Alabama and Texas A&M, of course, in a dogfight in the West. And we move to our SEC Player of the Week, which was Darius Geis. No Leonard Fournette this week for LSU, but he was not needed on Saturday as Geis rushed for 167 yards on only 17 carries as LSU cruised to an easy 42-7 win over the Missouri Tigers. It was a much-needed win for the Tigers and a stellar performance by Geis. So great job by him to step in the shoes of Leonard Fournette. So now we move to our game of the week, Tennessee at Texas A&M. Are you ready for this?
Man, like the last few years, I'm always nervous whenever A&M goes into a big game, and historically they're terrible whenever they have all the attention put on them. College Game Day is in College Station. They've never won when they've been involved in College Game Day. Everything's setting up for complete and total failure. But I've never felt more calm about a game in my life. I really think that there's something about this A&M team that, I mean, you saw last week. Obviously, they didn't have a great showing against South Carolina, but they were missing probably their three best players in Ricky Seals-Jones, Speedy Noel, and Myles Garrett. But if you can get them back, or at the very least get back Ricky Seals-Jones and Myles Garrett, because those are the two guys that really make the offense and defense run. If you can get them back, I don't know. I just have this feeling about them this year, man. I don't think that they're going to go undefeated, but I don't think that they're going to have any abject failures like they had in years past where they get blown out 59-0 or anything crazy like that.
This is a CBS 3:30 kickoff, of course. You mentioned College Game Day will be in College Station. Tennessee has proven to be a second-half team. 4 of their 5 games this year, they're down double digits. They find a way to win. I just don't understand. I mean, there is absolutely something in that team that wills them to win. Down 21-0 against Florida, down 13-3 against Appalachian State, down 14-0 against Virginia Tech, down 17-0 against Georgia. All victories. Have you ever in your life seen anything quite that extraordinary?
No, I mean, I think the only closest thing you can look to recently was the stroke of luck that Auburn had a few years ago, where against Georgia and Alabama in back-to-back weeks, they just came out of nowhere and won at the very end. Yeah, I mean, they're a phenomenal second-half team. Their defense and their offense both seem to turn it on in the second half. But one thing that's going to be interesting about this game is A&M's also been kind of a second-half team. A&M hasn't gone behind as much. Typically at halftime, they're either tied, a little bit ahead, or a little bit behind. But they play from ahead very well. Like once A&M has been getting a lead, they, with the exception of the fluke last touchdown against UCLA, they pretty much put the clamps on the other team. Mm-hmm. Now, to your point about the comebacks, I did see a stat the other day that the Vols have been coming back from double-digit deficits all season. The entire rest of Division I in the past 5 years with a 10-point deficit at halftime, I have like a .95 winning percentage. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost pretty much a guaranteed loss, and Tennessee's just bucking that trend like no problem.
Yeah, it's amazing. Talk to me a little bit about Trevor Knight. You know, he's impressed so far. He's played very well to start the season.
Yeah, he's played well. I think he's playing just about what everyone expected. He has moments of just absolute brilliance. He has moments where you look at him and you're like, this is the perfect guy to run this offense. And then he has times where he doesn't like standing in the pocket. He'll run to the sideline and basically limit his options to throw to. He's had a little bit of accuracy issues, but I mean, that kind of comes with what you get with Trevor Knight. But I do think the biggest positive that he's given to the A&M team is stability. Mm-hmm. Stability, leadership, maturity, something that they have not had. I mean, going back to Ryan Tannehill, I mean, you could say, I mean, obviously Johnny Manziel was a transcendent talent, mm-hmm. but he wasn't cool, calm, collected. He was kind of fly by the seat of his pants. This is the first time since this is the first senior quarterback we've had in forever, but this is the first time in a long time where you'll never see any panic or any freak out from the quarterback position, and I think A&M really, really needed that after the past few years.
Mm-hmm. Adam, we talk about, the concern of injuries. Myles Garrett, Speedy Noyle, both missed games against South Carolina. They're questionable for this Saturday. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, it's wishy-washy whether he'll be back or not, as well as Darren Kirkland Jr. He had a high ankle sprain against Virginia Tech. He's not been back since. They're the question marks, and, of course, Cam Sutton. Both of these teams have stellar defenses. However, they're not at full strength. Myles Garrett is the leader of the Texas A&M defense. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is the leader of the Tennessee defense. Both may be out for this game. How much concern is that for A&M without Myles Garrett?
It's a big concern on passing downs. The one thing that they've kind of been able to get away with is the fact that their secondary is awesome. Mm-hmm. Justin Evans, Donovan Wilson, Armani Watts. They have Nick Harvey whenever he's not committing dumb penalties. They have a really, really good secondary. Mm-hmm. And so obviously having a great pass rush with Deshaun Hall and Myles Garrett helps. Against a team like Tennessee who doesn't really run the ball like an Alabama or an Arkansas or an Auburn or LSU, they don't have to focus so much on stopping the run. And in the game against Arkansas, they were so geared up to stop the run, which they did for the most part, save for a few big plays, mm-hmm. that it opened up space in the secondary. And in this game, I think when they're less concerned about the run, it'll give Chavis more opportunities to create some confusing coverage schemes in the back end, which will hopefully get Josh Dobbs to throw some interceptions for us.
So now we move to the moment of truth, the prediction. Adam, let's hear it, man.
Well, you know where I'm going with this. I threw you all a bone a couple weeks ago with Florida when you didn't even have faith. So I'm having faith in my team. We're winning 42-17.
42-17. You want to hear my prediction?
Let's hear it.
Tennessee 38, Texas A&M 31. I have no explanation other than it'll be wild. It will come down to the final minute, and we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, all things being equal, then both teams should connect a Hail Mary at the end of the half and at the end of the game. Like just for sake of like for continuity's sake, that's what should happen.
It'll be crazy, and I can't wait for it. This Saturday, 3:30, Tennessee versus Texas A&M in College Station. Some other games of major focus. Real quick, we're going to examine Alabama versus Arkansas. This is a top 20 matchup and a tough test for Alabama to go on the road. Give me some quick thoughts on this game.
As much as I'd like to see Arkansas win, I don't think that they're going to. I think that Alabama is too good. The one thing that I can count on Arkansas to do for both of our teams is to beat the crap out of Alabama.
I completely agree.
Just like not so much on the scoreboard, just like broken, bloody, bruised. Like I want them to finish this game and like contemplate if they even want to continue playing football, and then look ahead and be like, "Oh crap, we got Tennessee. What happens after that? We got arrested A&M after that? No. I'm done.
Yeah. So, what's your prediction for this game?
I'll take Alabama 28-20.
28-20. You know what? I'm going to say Arkansas upsets Alabama in overtime, 34-31, gives them their first loss since last year. I think Austin Allen's going to throw for 250 yards, and the Razorbacks went on a field goal in overtime. So,
that sounds great.
I might be right and I might be wrong.
I love Austin Allen. After that A&M Arkansas game, that dude he's so tough. Like they are not going to be able to knock him out of the game.
The other game of interest, Georgia versus South Carolina. Georgia, of course, they lost last week to Tennessee on a Hail Mary. They're looking to bounce back, looking to try to stay in the SEC East race. Just give me some quick thoughts.
Well, if it's the Georgia that showed up against Ole Miss, I think South Carolina has a chance to win. If it's the Georgia that showed up against Tennessee, then I think Georgia won't really have much of a problem. Mm-hmm. So I'll take Georgia. I'll take Georgia to win that by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, and I've got I've got Georgia winning big over South Carolina. I think that after last week's loss, they're going to come out focused. They're going to come out ready to go. 38-14 Bulldogs. So we move to the final part of the show, which is predictions for the rest of the SEC. LSU versus Florida. This is a 12 o'clock kickoff. Of course, Florida is trying to stay in the SEC East race, hoping that Tennessee will slip up and lose. LSU, of course, with Ed Orgeron, he took over last week for Les Miles, who had been fired. LSU played extremely well against a pretty bad Missouri team. What is your prediction?
To be completely honest with you, I have no idea. Is LSU's offense, is that what to expect going forward? Was that a 1 week high after, I don't know, being released and opening up the offense a little bit? Mm-hmm. So I really don't know what's going to happen. Florida, I think Florida has to win this game. Mm-hmm. They got beat by Tennessee. They looked pretty bad against Vandy, and so I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be an overtime game, and I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. Give me Florida.
Give me Florida. You know, with the return of Leonard Fournette this week, I look for him to have a big game. I've got LSU 31-21. Next game is Auburn versus Mississippi State. Give me some quick thoughts on that.
Auburn's got to win this game. For Gus Malzahn, they've got to win this game. So I'll take Auburn 28-14.
I got Auburn 27-21. And then the final game, I know you're excited about this one, Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
Ye God. Yay. This is the 11 o'clock SEC Network game, right? Or 12 o'clock. Sorry, I'm in Eastern time zone now.
I think it is.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. Well, give me Vandy 3-0 in overtime.
I've got Vanderbilt 30-27 over Kentucky in overtime. So should be a very, very exciting week of college football. Thank you for tuning in to Views of the SEC. For Adam Benefiel, I'm Trey Adams, signing off. Goodbye, everybody.
Gig 'em.
Go Vols.
This program is a presentation of the Communications Department of Northeast State Community College and is produced as part of the student learning experience. The content of this program is produced through student participation and does not necessarily reflect the opinions and views held by the school.
The music today was provided by Jason Shaw at audioaudix.com.